Hello, Craig Birch here at the ECC Sports and Social Club on Cheryl Road in Wolverhampton, where I have here tonight's esteemed guest, returning hero and boxing pundit, Steve Bunce. And one of the things we have talked about tonight, we talked about so many things here tonight, a great evening here, is Rio Ferdinand. Took us all by surprise, former Manchester United England defender. Got to come into professional boxing at the age of 38. I didn't even know he liked boxing, Steve, did you? So.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I know that he was big friends with a guy called Benny May, who was a good young pro, and he's been friends with David Hay for 12-15 years. And he also, we know now, it's been revealed since, he used a lot of boxing gyms to train when he was at his peak at Manchester United. So we know he likes boxing. But you know what? Lots of people like boxing. All sorts of people like boxing. Doesn't mean you can become a boxer, especially not at 38. Even if you are fit and even if you've been a professional athlete, it's a hard business. And my one problem with this is the involvement of a very big betting company who are sponsoring the whole thing. Yeah. We had that, of course, with Freddie Flintoff a few years ago, where Freddie made a program about his preparation to become a boxer with the McGregors, and he had a fight and he won it at the Manchester Arena. Great crowd, about 8,000 in that night. But he looked very poor, he looked very amateurish, and he got through that fight just, then retired. Rio insists that's not what he's doing it for real. It's really hard at 38 to try and do it for real. And of course they'll get him wins, understandably. And of course he'll get a bit of profile, understandably. He's had his own press conferences, this, that and the other. And the way I always work is quite simple, Craig, is that something happens in boxing and I wait for the phone to ring and I wait for my emails to arrive. And Ferdinand was a big blip. It was quite good, you know, 5 Live, Independent, ESPN, CNN, but you know, at half a dozen places. Don't get me wrong, don't get paid for them because it's news. They just want to use you because you're a face. So it's quite a news story. He'll be fit and he'll be dangerous and he'll be perfectly and he'll be safe if he gets a British Boxing Board of Control license, which he will.
You've got a past trial bout as well, isn't it?
Listen, he'll get a trial bout. He'll do it. Because he shapes up well. I've seen him shape up. He'll pass, don't get me wrong. Two things are against him. The fact that he hasn't boxed competitively. And secondly, his age. Because it's a really strange thing, boxing. In that you can, in the gym, Rio could run all sorts of sprints. He could swim in the pool. He could run road work. He could spar and hit the bag for 2 hours. And he could have a sweat and his heartbeat would be like this. In the ring, something happens, it all goes out the window. Curtis Woodhouse, who turned professional when he was 25, used to play for Birmingham, then went to Sheffield Wednesday, I think, sold for $1 million.
Sheffield United,
went to Sheffield United as a captain, was the captain of Young England under 21s.
Yes, he was, yeah.
He turned professional at 25, was disillusioned with football, turned professional as a boxer, and I think it took him 20 odd fights, 8 years, he lost 6 times to actually become the British champion. And then he retired. He's still younger than Rio now. Yeah. So that's not the same thing. And let me tell you something. If Rio had quit football when he was 25 and started to box, he might have become 8 years later the British champion. He might have. Yeah. He won't now. I'm not quite sure what the goal is. Saying that, this is a separate part of the story. Rio is such a stand-up man. His wife died suddenly and tragically, terribly. He's raised the 2 kids, and remember there was a great documentary made about called Being Mum and Dad. Well, now he's being mum and dad and a fighter. And if, as I believe, he just needs to prove something to himself, then I'm completely backing it. But let's not get carried away. There are, I think it's 66 cruiserweight boxers in this country. Yeah. Every one of them would beat him.
Of course.
And I mean that nicely. Doesn't mean we can't find him a win against someone from Latvia. But let's put it in perspective. And Rio, I know, is such a professional, he will not try and insult boxing. No one's going to be conned. So let's just get that right. If he gets a license, he'll get a few wins, and maybe that'll be enough. And he can go off.
Is this a Flintoff? Is he going to box once, just get it out of his
system?
system?
I don't think it is. No, because that would be a bit of an insult, because he's talked about not doing a Flintoff. Whereas Flintoff talked about doing a Flintoff, as they say.
Yeah. Okay. So what can Rio realistically achieve after doing?
You want me to be brutally honest?
Go ahead.
We can manufacture, we can create a belt for him, we can...
Challenge belt maybe?
We can have him win the English Masters belt.
Central area?
No, he's not good enough to win a Southern area belt. They won't get nominated for that. He's going to have to win one of the bogus ones, so the WBA Pentacontinental. We can find him a belt. It means nothing. You know, Golovkin fought Saul Canelo Alvarez, and people would say to me, Steve, he's defending 6 belts. And I'd say, yes, he is.
Half a mean nothing.
But 3 of those were given to him.
Yeah.
I mean, given to him. So we'll find a belt for Rio, and then hopefully he doesn't get hurt, doesn't hurt anybody, and he moves on. But you know what? He's a good human being. He does good things. Good luck to him.
Can he really have a go against someone who can, in time?
No.
If he has a few.
He can't, because what does that make him? If he has 12 fights over a 2-year period, what does it make him? 41? Of course he can't. Very few fighters compete at 41. They have to be guys like Mayweather. They have to be guys like Foreman or Oville McKenzie. They have to be freaks of nature. We talked about LaMotta. He can't. He just physically can't do it.
Yeah. Does it hurt boxing?
No, it doesn't hurt boxing because...
Or is it just a case, let Rio do what he wants to do and that's it?
Absolutely, because if he gets a licence, it will be under certain rules and regulations. So of course it doesn't hurt boxing. Let's not get carried away.
Yeah. When we had all this with McGregor, haven't we? So you think let Rio do what he wants to do, boxing ultimately won't be affected?
Absolutely, as long as we don't say, hey, it's going to be really hard for Rio, or hey, this is going to be a 50-50 fight, or hey, this really means something, or hey, he's going to win a world belt. No, he's not. It's a bit of fun with a bit of blood in the middle.
Of course. Excellent. Fantastic, Steve. Thanks for your time. Everyone's enjoyed your time again. We'll see you again.